From the Sutra of Hui Neng. I noticed that it is a common practice for monks and laymen to recite the name of Amitabha with the hope of being born in the Pure Land of the West. To clear up my doubts, will you please tell me whether it is possible for them to be born there or not? Listen to me carefully, sir, replied the patriarch, and I will explain. According to the sutra spoken by the Bhagavat in Shravasti city for leading people to the Pure Land of the West, it is quite clear that the Pure Land is not far from here, for the distance in mileage is 108,000, which really represents the 10 evils and 8 errors within us. To those of inferior mentality, certainly it is far away, but to superior men, we may say that it is quite near. Although the Dharma is uniform, men vary in their mentality. Because they differ from one another in their degree of enlightenment or ignorance, therefore, some understand the law quicker than others. While ignorant men recite the name of Amitabha and pray to be born in the Pure Land, the enlightened purify their minds. For, as the Buddha said, when the mind is pure, the Buddha land is simultaneously pure. Although you are a native of the East, if your mind is pure, you are sinless. On the other hand, even if you were a native of the West, an impure mind could not free you from sin. When the people of the East commit a sin, they recite the name of Amitabha and pray to be born in the West. But in the case of sinners who are natives of the West, where should they pray to be born? Ordinary men and ignorant people understand neither the essence of mind nor the Pure Land within themselves, so they wish to be born in the East or the West. But to the enlightened, everywhere is the same. As the Buddha said, no matter where they happen to be, they are always happy and comfortable. Sir, if your mind is free from evil, the West is not far from here. Yet difficult indeed it would be for one whose heart is impure to be born there by invoking Amitabha. Now I advise you, learned audience, first to do away with the 10 evils. Then we shall have traveled 100,000 miles. For the next step, do away with the 8 errors, and this will mean another 8,000 miles traversed. If we can realize the essence of mind at all times and behave in a straightforward manner on all occasions, in the twinkling of an eye we may reach the Pure Land and there see Amitabha. If you only put into practice the 10 good deeds, there would be no necessity for you to be born there. On the other hand, if you do not do away with the 10 evils in your mind, which Buddha will take you there? If you understand the birthless doctrine, which puts an end to the cycle of birth and death, of the sudden school, it takes you only a moment to see the West. If you do not understand, how can you reach there by reciting the name of Amitabha, as the distance is so far? Now, how would you like it if I were to shift the Pure Land to your presence this very moment, so that all of you might see it? The congregation made obeisance and replied, if we might see the Pure Land here, there would be no necessity for us to desire to be born there. Will your holiness kindly let us see it by having it removed here? The patriarch said, sirs, this physical body of ours is a city. Our eyes, ears, nose, and tongue are the gates. There are 5 external gates, while the internal one is ideation. The mind is the ground. The essence of the mind is the king who lives in the domain of the mind. While the essence of mind is in, the king is in, and our body and mind exist. When the essence of mind is out, there is no king, and our body and mind decay. We should work for Buddhahood within the essence of mind, and we should not look for it apart from ourselves. He who is kept in ignorance of his essence of mind is an ordinary being. He who is enlightened in his essence of mind is a Buddha. To be merciful, compassionate is Avalokiteshvara. To take pleasure in almsgiving is Mahastama. Competence for your pure life is Shakyamuni. Equality and straightforwardness is Amitabha. The idea of a self or that of a being is Mount Meru. A depraved mind is the ocean. Klesha, defilement, is the billow that stokes the flame. Wickedness is the evil dragon. Falsehood is the devil. The wearisome sense objects are the aquatic animals. Greed and hatred are the hells. Ignorance and infatuation are the birds. Learned audience, if you constantly perform the 10 good deeds, paradise will appear to you at once. When you get rid of the idea of a self and that of a being, Mount Meru will topple. When the mind is no longer depraved, the ocean of existence will be dried up. When you are free from klesha, defilements, billows and waves of the ocean of existence will calm down. When wickedness is alien to you, fish and evil dragons will die out. Within the domain of our mind, there is a Tathagata of enlightenment who sends forth a powerful light which illuminates externally the 6 gates of sensation and purifies them. This light is strong enough to pierce through the 6 kama heavens of desire. And when it is turned inwardly, it eliminates at once 3 poisonous elements, purges away our sins which might lead us to hells and other evil realms, and enlightens us thoroughly within and without, so that we are no different from those born in the Pure Land of the West. Now, if we do not train ourselves up to this standard, how can we reach the Pure Land? Having heard what the patriarch said, the congregation knew their essence of mind very clearly. They made obeisance and exclaimed in one voice, "Well done." They also chanted, "May all the sentient beings of this universe who have heard this sermon at once understand it intuitively." The patriarch added, "Learned audience, those who wish to train themselves spiritually may do so at home. It is quite From the Sutra of Hui Neng. I notice that it is a common practice for monks and laymen to recite the name of Amitabha with the hope of being born in the Pure Land of the West. To clear up my doubts, will you please tell me whether it is possible for them to be born there or not?" "Listen to me carefully, sir," replied the patriarch, "and I will explain. According to the sutra spoken by the Bhagavat in Shravasti city for leading people to the Pure Land of the West, it is quite clear that the Pure Land is not far from here, for the distance in mileage is 108,000, which really represents the 10 evils and 8 errors within us. To those of inferior mentality, certainly it is far away, but to superior men, we may say that it is quite near. Although the Dharma is uniform, men vary in their mentality. Because they differ from one another in their degree of enlightenment or ignorance, therefore, some understand the law quicker than others, while ignorant